being that it's Shloshim Yoim Koidim Chag Pesach, so I once received a Pesach Dika Shaila, not such a common Shaila. There are many common Shailas that come along before Pesach, but this one is not so common. And actually, I discussed the Shaila at the time with Rabbi Wilschanski, Dov Goldstein, who were still in the middle of his Shloshim. May Neshama have an Aliyah and be a Be'eletz Yosher for his family and for all Talmidim that went through Morristown. So someone called me that it was before Pesach, and he had already turned over his kitchen, and his cleaning lady was preparing the chicken to prepare for Pesach, for Yom Tov. And by mistake, she didn't realize, she opened up a drawer of the chametz dike kelim, and she took out a chametz dike knife, and she used a chametz dike knife to clean and to process the chicken that she was now going to afterwards put in a kosher Pesach dike pan or pot to prepare for this Pesach Sudas. So really the Shaila has a few tzdadim. Number one, what's the geder of a knife? Is there an issue with duchke de sakina when you're cutting a piece of chicken? And what would happen if the knife would be hot, a chametz dike knife, v'chulu? So let's break this down, bekitzer, and come to a maskana. So number one, api Shulchan Aruch, it says, and the Rashi brings it also, stam sakin sham lunise kadosh al pana, which means generally speaking, a knife is considered dirty. So if you take this Shulchan Aruch, this lashon of Shulchan Aruch at face value, we have to assume that there was dirt on the knife. Now that dirt doesn't have to be chametz, but for Pesach we're extra careful. So if we would assume that the knife is dirty, so it's dirty with shmutz or whatever food was used last, which is possibly chametz. So if that was the mahalach, so then the chicken now might have mamoshes of chametz on the chicken. So me'ikra din, you would have to do a proper hadoche or maybe a shif godel on the piece of chicken, and it would still be indeed kosher lePesach. Today, with all the extra chumras for Pesach, would I recommend someone actually do that? Probably not. But me'ikra din, if you're relying on this piece of chicken, you could certainly rinse it off. However, the Maisa, most achronim say that the klal of stam sakin sham nanise kadosh alponav doesn't apply today. Befrat that we have proper materials, proper steel wool, and the dishes and the knives are cleaned properly. Therefore, we do consider knives that are stored away as clean and not sham nanise kadosh alponav, unless you did neitza bekarka, which is the way al pi Shulchan Aruch, a knife is properly cleaned. So let's assume now the knife is clean. The shaila is the fact that there was duchke de sakina, there was pressure from the knife on the chicken. Does that take out any tam from the knife? So bepashtus, duchke de sakina, b'di'evet, certainly would only be a problem if the food that you're cutting is a davar chorif. So it seems from the Alter Rebbe and many other poskim and achronim that if it's not a davar chorif, duchke de sakina alone does not take out any tam from the knife. There are those who want to be machmid that duchke takes out tam, it doesn't necessarily push it in, and then you would need anyways a proper hadoche. But according to many poskim, duchke and the Alter Rebbe included, duchke de sakina doesn't even take out of the knife unless it was a davar chorif. So therefore, nothing actually came out of the knife. There is an inyan to do hadoche, obviously, on this chicken, but really the hadoche is also not necessary, as it's explained by hilchos in Shulchan Aruch and the poskim. So bepashtus, the way the story was presented, there's no shaila with the chicken. Hein, if the knife was dirty, all you need is hadoche, and even if the knife was clean, the duchke de sakina is not a problem. But let's assume for a second that the chicken was even hot. What would be the halacha then? If you take a chametz dike clean knife and you cut hot piece of kosher lePesach dike chicken before Pesach. So the din is that we all know that on Pesach we're makbid that even an einoi ben yoimoy is osir b'di'evet al pi haminig. Shulchan Aruch brings a machloikis, and the minig is that even an einoi ben yoimoy, when it comes to chametz, we're makbid b'di'evet. The reason is because one of the yesodis of einoi ben yoimoy is based on bittul beroiv. And on Pesach, chametz is not bottled. So therefore chametz would not be mutter b'di'evet with an einoi ben yoimoy. But before Pesach, when we know chametz is bottled b'shishim all the way up until the shkia of Erev Pesach, chametz is still bottled b'shishim. So no matter what, even if the knife was hot, the food was hot, and you cut the food with a chametz dike knife, the food would also be kosher b'di'evet, because an einoi ben yoimoy before Pesach is mutter because of bittul beroiv, even if you go with the mahalach that the yesod of einoi ben yoimoy is bittul beroiv. So therefore, from all the tzdadim lemaisa, there's no shaila on this piece of chicken. Now, we all know that Pesach were extra machbed, which with certain things that lav dafke make sense al pi halacha, or al pi seichel, etc. So for that, you have to discuss it with your mashpia if you should be eating this chicken. But when a rav gets a shaila al pi halacha, it's kosher lechatchila, shebel lechatchila.